If you spill this secret about me, well, then this is coming out. I guess it's almost like you need insurance, right?
Oh, that's something that like cults do. They do.
You know what? You're right. Cults and dysfunctional female friendships.
Yeah.
Right? Hello, welcome to Found at 40. We are back. I'm here with Sarah once again.
Hello.
My most regular co-host. Hi.
Your co-host since birth, basically.
Basically, yes.
Yeah.
So we have had quite the week and we're excited to talk. I decided I needed to have you back on probably a little earlier than planned.
For a quick follow-up.
So an episode came out a few weeks ago. It's called From Group Text to Ghosted, the Midlife Friendship Breakup. I feel like I had more feedback from this episode than all the other episodes combined. So it's like, obviously this is striking a chord with people. So I dragged you back.
Kicking and screaming? No.
You're more than willing, let's be honest. I would say that there's a lot more that we can talk about. We received so many DMs with lots of feedback, a lot of things to think about. So I'm really excited for us to dive into this just a little bit deeper. And I feel like today it's going to be shedding a bunch of light that maybe we didn't consider with your situation and your friendship breakup.
Because I only know my own.
But first, let's talk about what's been going on lately in our lives. Sarah, what's been going on with you lately?
Let's see. I started driving for Uber. That's been a little bit of an adventure. It's been good, but I realized I want to buy seat covers for my car. Not that anything bad has happened, but just space. Yet. It's been interesting. I like meeting people and I like having conversations, and so I kind of leave it up to them. Like, if they want to talk, some people want to talk. Some people are just tired after work and want to get home.
I would say I fall more into the I don't want to talk category. Unless there's something like specific, like if the driver, say, has like a really good song, like, you know, they've got good music or whatever. But generally speaking, I just want to pretend that I'm being driven by a self-driven vehicle. Like, pretend it's a robot up front.
You know, some people want to talk, and so it's like, yeah, I'll have a conversation. How's the seat covers? I picked up one guy and his friend that were headed to a bar. One of them was clearly already drunk. And I just thought, like, I don't have puke bags in here, so that's on me. But just, I'd rather not have to deal with it.
Can I tell you one of the meanest things I've ever done?
Do I know this thing?
Maybe. So I was a senior in high school, but me and my friends, we had gone to the Dave Matthews Band concert, and I was the designated driver. Totally fine with that. There was a girl who I was not very good friends with, but she was in our group. And before she gets in the car, I mean, she'd been drinking a lot. I look at her and I say, do you need to throw up? And she's like, no, I'm good. I'm like, okay. Literally 5 minutes later, she throws up in the back of my car, and we have like an hour drive to go. I get so mad at her. I didn't have anything. I did not have any towels. I did not have any paper towels or napkins.
Where did the puke go?
On my seat. I make her take off her pants and use that as her towel.
No, I think that's not me. That is not at all me. That was like crisis problem solving.
Crisis problem solving. Take off your pants and wipe up your own vomit.
But then you still had to clean it up, right? Like, really?
Yes.
When you got home.
I was real mad. Thank you for validating me and telling me that wasn't mean.
No, that was not mean. However, we'll have to get into how you had different standards for your friends than I did. Maybe not standards, but like, you were not afraid to have somebody not want to be your friend. You were not.
No, I mean, I tell my kids, it's better to play alone than to play with somebody who's going to be a jerk. You know, That's my approach. And I mean, honestly, even into adulthood, which we'll talk about soon, kind of what you're willing to handle in a friendship. Another thing for you, you had a birthday yesterday.
I did. I had a birthday yesterday, and you did some really cool things. So you surprised me, Chrissi surprised me with tickets to go see the Dolly Parton musical in downtown Nashville. I wore a cute pink dress and felt very just Dolly-esque. But you had a ticket hookup, so that helped a lot.
I did. Shout out Annie. One of my friends from college, her daughter is actually in this show. She really hooked us up with amazing tickets. It was so much fun. It closes in just a few days, so like by the time this episode airs, it'll already be done. But the hope is that it'll go to Broadway next year.
Right.
And, you know, it will be available for the masses. So it was a phenomenal show. I loved it. Okay, so this episode is like the much needed follow up to episode 1, explaining your friendship breakup. The one thing that I really realized from this last episode is that friendship breakups, they're so much more common than you would think. The amount of people who have messaged and commented and shared and everything, it's like this is an experience that so many people go through. Again, like we said on the episode, does not get talked about nearly enough.
Well, and it's interesting though, because everybody who listens to our episode or even just sees that little 30-second clip, they're seeing it through their own lens, from their own experience. And so we got a lot of people asking, like, is it because of who you voted for? And it's like, no, not at all. Or it's like, well, clearly it was your fault. Or she was crazy, it was her fault. It was like, what is it? 3 sides to every story, yours, theirs, and the truth. Everybody's just filtering it through their own lens.
Yeah, and I feel like everybody, especially if you've been through that, either if you're the one who has ended the friendship or you've been on the receiving end, like you've got your own filter that everything is being processed through. And when I think of like adult female friendships, if you've been on this earth for at least 40 years and you haven't had some type of a female friendship strife, congratulations, you must be a robot. Because my gosh, I feel like it's such a universal truth as far as like being through heartbreak romantically. You've also been through some type of heartbreak with your friends.
I think that might even be your first heartbreak.
Yeah.
Like realizing, oh, I'm not safe in my bond with this person, whether it's like the friend down the street that you've known since you were 2, or when you go to high school and all of a sudden there's no room for you at the lunch table. But kind of, I feel like the first, like, oh no, I don't like this feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say that is probably the first heartbreak that a lot of people experience. And it's also the type of experience that we hope to grow out of. You hope that, okay, I'm 40, I'm 50, I'm whatever age, 60, like you would think we wouldn't experience that, but obviously we are.
When we
do,
see
absolutely.
pictures from an event that you weren't invited to, or it's like, oh, everyone is hanging out without me.
It brings up like a rejection that I feel like takes you right back to middle school or high school.
Have you ever had just like, so you get on the bus in the morning and the girl that you were sitting next to has someone else sitting next to her and they just ignore you and you don't know why and you don't know what you did? I don't know. Maybe that never happened to you. It puts you on really unsteady footing just for, I feel like, life. And it's way more common than I think any of us realize or realize that other people deal with, when it's like, I don't know why they decided we're not friends anymore.
I mean, I can get vulnerable for a second and tell you about my truly most painful friendship moment. It was when I was in high school. I think it was probably between like either sophomore and junior year or junior and senior year. And so I had this group of girls that I was really close to. I mean, we would do things together every single weekend, like we were kind of a pack. And there came a point during a summer where I wasn't supposed to know, but they all went on a trip to one of that friend's lake houses without me. So all 4 of them went, plus one other girl who went to a different school. And they didn't mean for me to know. They didn't want to be cruel about it, but like for me to feel like I was on the outside. And when I accidentally found out about it, I mean, this was pre-social media days. It was like there was no electronic evidence. I mean, I can easily chalk that friendship, just rejection, as one of the most painful things in my life. I've carried it around, and I wish I haven't. But like, if somebody says like, what is the most painful moment you've had with a friend? It was that, because I was too embarrassed to even make a thing out of it. Because I felt so rejected.
Did you tell them that you knew?
Yes. I think I just was like, oh, wow. I didn't even know what to say. I was like stunned into silence about it. And it was just so deeply hurtful. I mean, we still hung out and it was like business as usual when they got back. But that was a moment where I was like, I am on the outside in a way that I didn't realize.
Are you still friends with these people?
I'm not close with any of them. I would say I don't have bad blood with any of them, but like,
right.
There's
you
only
just haven't continued.
There's only 2 that I would say I talk to more than once every few years. But it hurt, and it's like, good grief, I'm 40 years old. Why is something from when I was 16 or 17 still something that I carry around? But like, these are the things that shape you as a person and as a friend, to be like, I never want somebody to feel that way, because I know what it's like to feel that way.
Yeah. Sometimes I think it's intentional, but sometimes I think it's unintentional. Like you don't know that the person is going to feel left out if they're not invited to the thing.
I feel like that is a biggie though. Like, yes, if it's like, oh, we're all going to lunch and we thought you were busy or something, versus we're going on a trip, we're doing this big fun thing and we're not going to tell you about it. And then somebody drops the ball.
And we're going to keep it a secret from you because we know that it's going to hurt.
Exactly. Like they kept it a secret because they knew it was going to hurt. It wasn't another situation. But our friendships did not end. That was just something that was traumatic to me, where I felt like the way I view this friendship is a little bit different. And it's like, I don't think all the girls, if each of them had been the host, I think I would have been included with most of them. It was just the girl who was doing the asking, you know, I didn't make the cut for whatever reason. It's like the things that shape us. But let's talk a little bit more. I wanted to talk about what makes up a female friendship, like especially once you're kind of reaching like teenage years and beyond. Researchers have found that there are like 3 main components to a female friendship. So there's symmetry, support, and secrecy. So symmetry is like when you feel like when your friend is talking and it's like, oh, same, like I relate to that. Or, you know, you're in the same stage of life, or you're feeling like you're kind of on the same footing as far as your career. You feel like you're on the same level playing field. But really, like, say you have a friend who, you know, your kids are the same age, your kids play, and then this friend criticizes your parenting, you know, you no longer feel like you're on that level playing field. You feel like she is being judgy. And that's something that kind of breaks that symmetry. Or I know I'm literally like gonna be walking on eggshells here, but like the political landscape, with the political differences, that's when people can all of a sudden feel like, how do I relate to this person anymore when we have these fundamental differences in belief? I feel like those are all
throwing out those landmines
examples.
there, you know.
Oh my gosh, you guys, don't come for me. Don't come for me.
But no, but I do get that. Like if you're like, we're not thinking of things the same anymore. Yeah. And whatever. Like, I mean, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, those are real things that can like rock the foundation of your friendship.
Yeah.
Not that this person who has a different belief system is out doing things that are morally terrible, but just knowing that it's like, oh, you agree with that? I cannot relate to that at all. You know,
it doesn't mean
this is a friendship.
It's a deal breaker. It's just like, it's a little like crack in the foundation.
And it could lead to becoming a deal breaker.
Right.
The next one of like component of female friendship is support. Like female friendships, they expect emotional backing, like so much more than male friendships. Guys don't call their friends when they're sad the way that like a girl would call their friends, or to be like, I'm really struggling with this, or I'm really sad about this. Like female friendships are so much more emotionally connected, whereas male friendships are more like, we like to do the same things.
Yeah. I read something one time that was like, my husband went golfing with his buddy who had just gotten a divorce, and he comes home and the wife is like, hey, how's he doing? And he's like, good, I think. And she's like, well, is he seeing anybody now? And it's like, I don't know. You spent 6 hours together. He's like,
no, it's so true. They don't talk about things necessarily. I mean, I'm sure there are some that do, but like, there are so many times where Ben will be talking to, you know, one of his buddies who lives out of state, and they'll talk for like half an hour. They'll be laughing and joking the whole time. He gets off the phone and I'm like, oh, what's going on with him? And he's like, I don't know.
I think he even does that with his mom. You're like, how's your mom? And he's like, oh, I don't know. And it's like, you just talked to her for 20 minutes.
Yes. I'm like, you need to gather information, like gather useful information. When you think about a friend and the support they give you, like think of, okay, when you went through your divorce, or when whatever hard thing happens, like your friends show up for you, right?
Yeah, they really did.
There's calls, there's texts, there's time together. Like the support in a friendship is a really strong component. And like really, I think, are there any friends who you feel like kind of went dark when you were going through hard times?
Probably, but I didn't notice because I was drowning and I just reached out to whoever, or like I just grabbed whatever arms were reaching in for me.
That's like whatever life raft was.
I think so. Like I was drowning, so any arms that were reaching out to me, you know, I grabbed onto, and I didn't think, where's this person?
But I think there are a lot of people who are like, they have gone through something traumatic or a really hard time, and they are disappointed by the lack of support.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. Because sometimes it's like you don't know what to do, and so you don't do anything.
Or it's like the friends, they don't necessarily articulate what they need. Some people, they might say like, oh, I sent you a text. I texted you, but it's like that person really needed like the quality time, the boots on the ground, whatever. And so even though you tried, it may have not met their like emotional needs for support.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago, one of my closest friends, she had a birthday party. And so everybody came to her birthday party. One friend left quite a bit early. She had had a really long day. She had, worked all day and she was just exhausted. And so she left early. And that really hurt the friend whose birthday it was. It hurt her feelings a lot. What I thought was very, very mature, though, is that this friend, she messaged her and she was like, hey, that really hurt my feelings. I was really disappointed in this. I feel like you didn't show up for me in a way that I thought you would. And so the friend, rather than being defensive or having excuses or whatever, she was just like, oh, I'm so, so sorry. I mean, this was all occurring, on Marco Polo. So I saw these interactions.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
And I was so impressed with both parties because they both articulated themselves really well. I mean, they said what the issue was, how it made them feel, and then the other friend responded with an apology and acknowledging their shortcomings, because it's like being a good friend doesn't mean that you never drop the ball or you never fall short, but it's acknowledging when you do and like making it right.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I was really, really impressed because I just kind of sat back and watched it happen because it wasn't my direct issue, but I was just really impressed with them. When we're talking about disappointment with a friend, I feel like there are a couple things to think of. Like, how often does this happen? Does this person drop the ball as a friend all the time? Or is it something that's like, oh, this is kind of a one-off? Because if it's a friend who's always disappointing you, then I feel like that might be a time to reevaluate the friendship. So other than your situation with Brittany, where you realize that you did have a part to play in, I guess, the unraveling of this friendship, have you had any other situations where you realize I dropped the ball or I disappointed my friend? I definitely fell short.
I'm very spontaneous and excited about different things. And I feel like sometimes I overcommit myself. And I think I've done this to you. You're like, I thought we were going to be spending this much time together, yet here you are for like an hour. So I think spreading myself too thin, trying to fit in all the things, ends up making some people feel neglected.
Yeah, I think that's probably accurate, when, oh, you're coming for a visit. And then now it's a moot point because you live here. But like, you would come for a weekend and I would see you for this amount of time because it's like, oh, you have all these other people you committed to. And it's just kind of, I would say the expectations, what I thought was happening didn't match what you had going on.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure like you, like I've probably disappointed friends in a lot of ways. But one that came to mind when I was thinking about this is I remember years ago, I had a friend who she was applying to be on a type of committee and she needed reference letters. And so she asked me and a couple other friends, hey, could you write a letter of recommendation? And I just spaced it. I never did it. And then a few weeks later, she said to me and the other friends, only one of you guys wrote a letter, and it really made me feel bad, like you didn't show up for me. And it really I realized that I didn't prioritize something that was important. It was important to her, and it was not difficult for me to do, and I felt really bad. Then, obviously, apologized profusely, but then a few years down the line, she had another situation where, can you write this letter of recommendation? And
did you do
you
it?
better believe, like, the literal day that she asked, I did it. And I was like, I did it. It's
I'm
done.
so sorry
And,
I failed you.
I know. I was like, I am not going to do this again, because it hurts to be disappointed as a friend. It hurts to feel like you need your friend to show up, and it's not like she was asking me to do something crazy. It was like, write a letter.
There are also times, and I think we touched on this in the last episode, there are times where somebody's going through something and you invite them to do something and they decline repeatedly. Do you take that personally? Do you just think, okay, it's just them? Do you show up anyway and force them into social interaction? I think that's a tough line.
Yeah, I think that's like what you can do is just be as direct as possible and be like, hey, this is what I'm thinking.
Is it me? Is it you? What do you need from me?
The third part of like a female friendship is secrecy. This is like the vault of mutual sharing. And I feel like this is such a crucial part of female friendship is like, all right, you are the vault. You know the things, you know the intimate details of somebody's life. And I feel like when we talk about your friendship ending, I feel like this is kind of the component that was broken. Whether it actually happened, she saw this potential issue of, oh my goodness. Now this came from somebody DM'd me, and it kind of made the wheels turn of, guess what? If you start the relationship with her brother-in-law, what if that is where your closeness goes? And like, what if you start letting the secrets out of this vault because your alliance with the brother-in-law shifts?
Absolutely. That's definitely something to consider. That might have been sort of like the breaking point of other things that she had not told me or talked about that were bothering her as well.
She just saw the perceived, very real threat to the secrecy component of your friendship.
Yeah.
And that's why she had to like back up.
There's people who you think are safe with your secrets, and then something happens and you guys aren't friends anymore. And like, they're going to try to use that to blackmail you. I'm not in that situation, but I have friends who've been in situations like that.
Yeah, where it's like you trusted the wrong person. You put your trust in the wrong person, and you would have no idea. My kids are on a very big Harry Potter kick right now. It's a continuous kick. It's a loop that never ends. We just watched the third movie where Peter Pettigrew, it comes out that it's like, oh, everybody thought that Sirius Black was the villain, and he sold out Lily and James Potter, but it turned out to be Peter Pettigrew.
That's heartbreaking.
It is. But it's like, oh, they put their trust in the wrong person. Lily and James Potter put their trust in Peter Pettigrew. He was a bad friend. He sold them out, and they would have had no idea. This is a stretch, I know, but this is kind of where my head went. You don't always know. That's the hard and like the vulnerable part about friendships is like you assume these people are going to be trustworthy.
Yeah, and sometimes it can be like, oh, you've pushed me this far? Okay, like here we go. Now it's all coming out. But sometimes it's like mutually assured destruction. Like they know these things about you, you know these things about them, so neither of you are going to blow it all up.
If you spill this secret about me, well, then this is coming out. I guess it's almost like you need insurance, right?
Oh, that's something that like cults do. They do.
You know what? You're right. Cults and dysfunctional female friendships.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We're at a point where perimenopause is starting to infiltrate our lives. Like, ready or not, here it comes.
It's if I ignore it, if I don't acknowledge it, it's not happening.
That's right. If it's not happening for you, it's happening for somebody else. And I feel like hormones and like life shakeups and everything, it leads to a lower tolerance for one-sided friendships, where if the friendship feels lopsided, you have no more F's to give.
Yeah. I think not all personality types are ever going to get to that point, because like I have to remember that I don't owe anyone anything, and that it's okay if someone doesn't like me or the choices that I've made. I have to continually remind myself that it is not my job to make everybody else comfortable. I mean, obviously I'm not a terrible person to be around, but it's okay if someone doesn't like me. I have to be okay with that.
So somebody on Reddit said it was a conversation about perimenopause and how it affects friendships. But this person says, I simply do not have the mental capacity to be a friend or have friends at this point. Perimenopause is messing up all aspects of my life. I'm on survival mode just to keep myself alive and keep my marriage from dissolving. Good friends are able to pick up where you left off. Once I feel better, I can reincorporate them into my life and know that they will be there, no questions asked. Take care of yourself first. I mean, that's I'm really hoping that my perimenopause symptoms do not like have me to that point. But really, you might be on freaking survival mode.
Yeah.
And like you just have no bandwidth for anything else other than like what is right in front of you.
I mean, what are these perimenopause like symptoms we're talking about? What are the things that can be this life shaking?
I've heard of people just being so like irritable, like rage, just a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression, just like a lot of mental and emotional things just kind of get turned on their heads. I mean, I really want to talk to somebody who knows more about perimenopause more than I do, because I feel like I'm just talking about like, oh, I heard this, but like I have no actual strong knowledge of how it affects. I mean, there are times where I'm definitely more irritable than, sometimes rather than others, but.
Is it because you're hungry? 'Cause
probably.
That happens to me.
If I'm hungry, if I'm tired.
If I'm hungry, if I'm stressed, if my kids are arguing with each other.
Well, and I feel like once we get to this stage in our lives, not necessarily perimenopause, but like this age, I don't have interest in having to like audition friendships and be like, I'm willing to take anything as far as a friend. Like, you're a breathing human, like, let's be friends. Like,
you're a breathing human.
You have a pulse, let's be friends. If it's not feeling like it's coming naturally, if it feels like a difficult friend, if it feels like, oh, we don't vibe, I don't need to keep trying. Not saying that I've found all my friends. Hopefully some of my very closest friends I haven't even met yet, you know?
Right.
Which is kind of a cool thing to think about.
They're out there.
What if I have this group of friends that like I have not even met once and they're going to completely become some of the most important people to me? I feel like that's a really fun, hopeful way to think about it. Do you think that adults really need to have best friends?
I think that when things happen, you need someone that you can call. And it could be your husband, it could be your boyfriend, but you need a person who is your person.
Well, one thing with you, it's like you do have probably your very closest friend, but then you do have like this sub village of a handful of friends who are maybe not that equal level of closeness.
You have different circles. You have like inner circle, and then you have the next ring, and then you have the next ring, all of which are supporting you. Sometimes it's just you and your husband in that inner circle ring. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's you and your sister.
So the friendships that I really, really love are the ones that do not feel like work. When we see each other, it's wonderful. We have a great time. And then we have our own separate lives. We don't necessarily need to be always together.
For someone who's like an extrovert, sometimes it's hard for me to say no when it's like, ooh, fun times are happening.
There's a difference, though, between always being down for fun, whereas if you were thinking, there's nothing happening today, I need to be with this person, I need to connect with this person.
Oh, yeah.
Like the friendship, if we haven't seen each other all week or if we haven't talked all week, something's wrong.
Well, sometimes something is wrong because it's like, that's out of character. Like, what's going on? Like, if I haven't talked to you in a week, which there have been weeks where we haven't, we've had a text here and there, but not really spent much time together or talked on the phone, but it's never about you or it's never about me. When I was in a marriage that I wasn't getting the emotional support that I needed, I was looking for that to be fulfilled outside of me.
Friends carried such a more important emotional weight.
I was always wanting to go do things with friends, but it's because otherwise I'd be sitting at home and sitting next to my husband, not talking. I think that when you're more satisfied with maybe your relationship, but then you run into the thing like, oh, well, when somebody gets a boyfriend and they drop off the face of the earth, and you don't want to be that girl either.
I mean, I feel like it's all about balance, and like you want to be able to have a balance with your time. I have some friends who literally have very little free time, and so to expect them to like drop things and hang out with me, that's just stupid and immature and like not.
Or like
reading
your free
the
time
room.
is in the evening, but your free time is during the day.
You want to have a friendship that is essentially like emotionally balanced, where it's not like, oh, you're always dumping your emotional needs on the other person and they're just like the listener. And on the other side, you don't want to just have your friend come and dump on you all the time. Like there's a time and a place.
Yeah, sometimes great.
Yes, but like say you have a friend and it's always you're having to deal with their crisis.
Always about
all
them.
the time. It's always about them. Like I remember years ago, I had a friend who it was kind of that way. And it started at first, I felt like, oh, I'm being really, really helpful. Like they are having a hard time. They've had this and this happen in their lives. My role is one where I'm being a support to them. But like after a while, it just felt really glaring that there was...
Well, it didn't feel reciprocated.
No, it did. There was no reciprocity in it. But like when I did say something to her, like, hey, this is kind of how I feel, she was really hurt. She felt like I was saying that I no longer cared. And eventually, we kind of cooled things off a little bit. And then she did come around eventually and was just like, I realized that this is kind of how I was operating and I'm sorry. And were things the same? Not necessarily, but I feel like it was like a natural situation where we're like, okay.
Well, that doesn't happen a lot. I wish that female friends could be a little more honest with each other. Not in a like offensive way, but just a little bit more real about, hey, this is how that made me feel, without it being a huge deal.
Yeah, I mean, going back to my friend that, disappointed the other one on her birthday, the fact that they talked it out and were so open about it and so mature about it really was impressive to see, because it's like they mean so much to each other. But if it would have been left unsaid, it would have probably created some types of like cracks or resentment in this friendship.
And sometimes there are friends that are going through something and they don't have the ability to help you or reciprocate at all. But it shouldn't always be like that.
Okay, so let's talk about toxic friendships in adulthood.
Okay.
Ooh.
Sometimes personality disorders are involved.
This is true.
I mean, right now, I think narcissist is a kind of a trend right now, but there's also other personality disorders like histrionic personality disorder. Look that one up. That's an interesting one.
Yeah, antisocial personality disorder, borderline personality disorder. This doesn't mean if somebody has one of those personality disorders, this doesn't mean they cannot be a good friend, but they have some barriers that, like, if they're not doing the work on themselves, things will get out of balance. When you think of a toxic friend, I mean, you think of the ones who maybe are kind of mean, kind of catty. The ones that it's like...
The ones that kind of give you those, like, subtle barbs that nobody else notices, but that it's a mean thing.
Or the friends that, like, when you're alone with them, they talk trash about everyone else, because guess what? When they're not with you, they're going to be talking about you too. Those kind of friends.
I don't want to be friends with somebody who's just talking crap about other people. I don't like it.
I know. If you have a friendship where your time together is making you a worse person, whether it's being really gossipy and talking bad about people, or like being excited about people's misfortune, or what if your relationship focuses around like, we get drunk every weekend? That's not a healthy type of friendship, right? Not saying that you can't like go out for a drink with friends, but like when that's what your friendship revolves around.
Right.
If that's all you do, then it's like, is this a really healthy friendship?
Right.
A listener from a few weeks ago, she sent a DM and she talked about friend poaching. And I don't think I'd ever heard of this before she messaged about it. Do you remember what she said?
She said that she was really excited to introduce one friend to another friend, thinking, yay, we're all going to be friends. And then this one friend just started planning things with the other friend, just cutting her out of it. And it was really hurtful. And she was like, never again. I'm never again going to introduce one friend to another friend, because she was just so traumatized by feeling left out. Which, I mean, it's a hard thing to balance, because I do want my friends to be friends with each other. Actually, my favorite thing is introducing this person to this person, and they have this in common, and they're gonna love each other. But also, I don't expect them to like cut me out.
Cut you out. Like all of a sudden, they are doing things without you, and then like the circle.
Especially if it's like a really good friend that you introduce somebody to, and then they're all doing stuff together and you're not invited.
That would be so, so hurtful to think like, I made this happen and then you put me on the outside. I want to know, like, anyone listening, if you've had this happen, I would be really interested in hearing about that. So like, you know, leave a comment or like send me a DM, because is this something that happens more often and we just don't hear about it?
I actually remember in college, I moved into an apartment where there were two girls who were best friends. And I mean, I was friendly with both of them, but one of them even commented like how nice it was that I didn't try to like poach one of them or befriend one of them and push the other one out. And I'm like, why would I do that? You guys are best friends. I don't need to mess with that.
I feel like there are some females who unfortunately are insecure and they feel like they have to be kind of the top, have the control in a situation, or feel like they have to be the most sought after, or they want to be whatever it is. There are other people who they have more ulterior motives. Like, I like to believe that everybody is a good person, has good intentions, wants to be a kind friend. But there are some people who are a little bit of schemers. They want to be the social climber. They want to get into this group so they can launch pad their way and make the connections. And it's like, this is not talking about like networking for a job or whatever. But like when you are a schemer and a social climber, it just seems so icky. And we've had experiences where we can kind of see somebody who has been that way a little bit, and it just seems kind of gross.
It does.
And it also makes me happy that I live in a situation where I feel like I am thoroughly middle class. You know, I'm not climbing this ladder. It's not like, ooh, we have to get to know these people.
I remember, and I never watched it, but like one of the Real Housewives, one of the girls on there even was like, we are social climbers. We want to raise our standing socially. And it's like, ew.
Honestly, to be like, so what, you can be with like the Illuminati? I don't know. It just seems really
Whoever's at the top. I don't even know.
Whoever is at the top. Yeah, there are some people who are really driven by like the status, and I guess I'm not. Obviously, I want to have like a nice life and everything, but it's not like, ooh, these are the fancy people who live in my town. I need to like figure out a way to like.
Sororities are like that. I feel like it's a little bit like what sororities are like, which I'm so glad I did not go to a school that had Greek stuff, because I don't want to play that game. And if I think I'm going to try to play the game, then it's just insecurity and keeping up and making sure that they like me. Like, no.
I feel like sororities are having a major moment. Like, it has always existed, but now like the media is latching on of everything that goes
They're
into
even like
Rush and Greek.
Like Rush consultants.
I think that's so weird.
Like craft your image and your wardrobe and
yeah, and it's like, these are the pictures that you have on your social media. These are the things that you say. These are the things that you do. It's like, it goes beyond, oh, put your best foot forward. It's like, if you do not fit this very crafted thing, you've got no choice at these friends that you're essentially buying.
But like, that's not real friendship. And who wants that?
No, it's not. It's like you're buying yourself a spot in this perceived cool kids club.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is so empty. It is so empty. But I guess there's also, you know, you think of people who choose to go to an Ivy League school. It's because of the connections. I guess this is just some socioeconomic like echelon that I am not privy to.
And I'm not going to try.
Gossip Girl ask. Like, I don't even care.
I'm not
I don't even care. I want to talk about friendships and how they evolve after 40. Like we said in the first friendship episode, it is totally normal for friends every 7 years for you to have a turnover of half of your friends. Like, there's no shame in that. It's not that you necessarily did something wrong. That's like just a natural evolution of relationships. But I feel like at midlife, my relationships are fewer but deeper.
Okay.
Like the people that I'm choosing to spend my time with, because I feel like, just like you, we've got busy lives. We've got children.
Time
we've
is
got
limited. You're not
time
waste
is limited. So the people that I'm spending my time with are the ones that I really want to spend time with. So what Taylor Swift said on the New Heights podcast, she said, think of your energy as if it's expensive. It's a luxury item. Not everybody can afford it. And I feel like that really, when you're thinking about friendships in midlife, that's the truth. Not everybody can afford your time, and not that you're saying with, you know, monetarily, but the people that you're going to spend your time with are the ones that really mean something to you.
Good job, Taylor. Her time is expensive.
I know, Taylor's time really is expensive.
Well, it's almost like the same kind of thing that I was talking about, taking a job that only pays $12 an hour. My time is worth more than that, not because I'm better than anybody else who is taking that $12 job, but like because I have so many other things that require that time, so it's just not worth spending it for that amount of money.
Yeah, like when you have 3 free hours on your weekend for like hanging out with a friend, are you going to spend the time with your dear friend who is very meaningful to you? Or are you going to be like, let's spend our time with people that we're not really interested in spending time with people who, you know, it's not as much of a fit. And it seems kind of harsh, but at this point in time, we are taking care of our time.
Time's expensive.
Yes, our time is expensive. Our energy is expensive.
We don't have a whole lot of it left.
This might be the last day. No, I hope not. At our 40s and beyond, like, we're choosy at who has access to our time and our energy, and not that we're going to be jerks about it.
That being said, if anybody wants to grab coffee with me, I'm down. You know, sometimes it's like, yeah, go on.
Yeah, it's not that we're opposed to making new friends.
Right. No, I make new friends all the time. I really do.
Everywhere you go.
Now that you're 40, what are some like deal breakers in friendships? I think like trying to one up each other, not doing that.
Yeah, I would say trying to one up each other, trying to make it seem like my life is something that it isn't. You know, I feel like at this stage, I don't feel like I have to make my life seem like it's perfect and my children are perfect and my life is perfect and my marriage is perfect. Not that I'm airing my dirty laundry out for everybody, but I would say there is more quick authenticity and quick openness about saying, you know, this is what my life looks like. There are hard things, but I do feel like overall, like by this stage in life, most women are also feeling. And if they're still saying, let's put on these airs, or
There still are those women, I'm pretty sure.
I would say though, I mean, it really, to me, it seems like these are the people who have a more shallow outlook on life, where things are about appearances and about, sorry, Real Housewives. But that's just how it feels to me. I mean, maybe I'm speaking out of turn because I really don't know the Real Housewives stuff.
Right.
But it just seems to be like a huge emphasis on, you know, hollow and just appearances. But that's something I'm no longer interested in. I don't think I was ever interested, actually.
I wasn't either.
So what about you? What are some deal breakers for you in friendships?
Probably sharing things with my kids that are not appropriate. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Whether it's about their own personal life, my personal life, just life in general.
They need to have appropriate boundaries.
Yeah.
They need to have appropriate interpersonal boundaries where they're not going to be being like, oh, you're a teenager. You can know this adult detail about my life. You have to know where those boundaries lie. And I know exactly what you're talking about. Can we talk about the crazy person that kind of weaseled her way into your life?
Yes, we can. Let's see. There was a person who, this was right after my divorce, a girl who kind of was brought into our like friendship group. She was fun and she was a little younger, but she kind of fell in a hard time. So she had lost her job. She was like, had like this chronic illness that nobody could really figure out what was going on. Lost her job, didn't have a place, like she was getting kicked out of her apartment because of it. She lived across the country from her family. There was a lot of drama and that should have been a red flag. But my friends trusted her. I kind of was like, okay, well, they think that she's a safe person. So I had an extra room in my house and I had recently gotten divorced, was struggling for money. And I thought, oh, like this girl can rent a room in my house. Yes, I know that was a terrible move, but you know, it'll help both of us out because she can give me a few $100 a month and she has a place to live. And she claimed to love cleaning and organizing. So, and she was like, I'll help out with cleaning things up and it'll help you, it'll help me, whatever. She shared some things with my kids that were absolutely inappropriate about her personal life. I had a security camera in my living room that I hadn't even had turned on, but I like turned it back on because one of my friends was like, you need to watch things with at the time he was 16, your 16-year-old and this person, because she talks about him more than an adult should talk about a teenager. Like, just like, he's so funny, or we were watching a movie or whatever. And so I turned on the camera in my living room, and while nothing inappropriate physically happened, I checked the camera while they were out in the living room watching something on TV, and I just saw that they were sitting a little bit too close. So I go out there and I was like, what's going on? And my son was reading something on her phone that was absolutely inappropriate to share with a child. And so the next day I realized, can't do it anymore.
Gotta go.
She's gotta go. But I felt really bad about it because I was like, am I overreacting? But my body was telling me, like, alert,
like your
danger.
intuition was saying, no, it's cannot go on.
I can't have her living with me anymore. This lasted for like 2.5 months, maybe.
If somebody has bad boundaries, you gotta
bad boundaries. And that wasn't the first
them at a
thing.
distance.
That wasn't the first incident. She had shared some information about her life with my daughter that I was kind of like, okay, I wish she didn't know this, but we're going to let that slide. And then it was just like, no, too many things. That's a whole nother story. Getting her out of the house. Whole nother
Oh my
story.
gosh.
Yeah.
That could be an episode in and of itself because that was
could.
crazy.
It could.
So what else do you not have time for in a friendship?
I would say I don't have time for friends who are not equally invested in the friendship. I'm not going to chase somebody down. I'm not interested in saying, oh, please be my friend. It's like, if you want to be my friend, great. But if this is not the right time for you, or if we're not vibing, I'm not going to try significantly harder than somebody else. One thing that I've realized at this age, I'm not going to vibe with everybody. Not everybody is going to really enjoy me. I mean, overall, I think I'm a freaking delightful person. However, there are going to be some people...
In my own humble opinion.
In my own humble opinion, I am delightful. However, there are other people that are just going to be like, no, she's too much this, too much that. It's just not a good fit. And you're realizing I'm not going to be a good fit for everybody. I am not this unicorn of a person who like everybody's obsessed with. And that's nothing that's wrong with me, but it's like, yeah, you just don't vibe with everybody, and that's okay.
There's a quote that I really have to remind myself. Like, you could be the sweetest, juiciest peach on the tree, but some people just don't like peaches.
Absolutely. You could be the most fantastic, wonderful, engaging, fun, loving friend, and there are going to be people who say, no, not for me. And that's not about you. That's more about them and what their preferences are.
It doesn't mean that anything's wrong with you.
Exactly. You're a freaking peach, Sarah. Thanks. I love the idea of like our best friends. There are so many wonderful friends that we have not even met yet. We are 40 and 44. There is so much life yet to come. There's so many experiences. Like the idea of I maybe haven't met my closest friends. It's really exciting to think there are all these amazing, great people out here. However my life evolves, there are going to be wonderful people that I encounter. And I think that's really exciting.
I have a client who recently moved to New York, and she is like, I need to make friends. So they have these like almost like friend matchmaking group meetup things where you enter in your information about who you are and what you do and what you like to do, and then you get sent like a place and time, and then you meet up and there's like 8 women that it's like, hey, you guys will probably hit it off.
It's really cool. That's
I know.
Really cool. I mean, I think in it being a big city like New York, there is enough influx and like turnover. If you live in a smaller town, it'd be like, you know, a dating pool, like in a small pool. It's like these
like
are the same people. I noticed this kindergarten, I don't like them. That's really cool, though. I think it's like when you think of how to make friends at this age, sometimes it can probably feel like a little bit daunting and a little bit frustrating and a little bit. I'm sure there are a lot of women who feel lonely at this age, thinking I am having a hard time finding my people. To those women, there's absolutely hope of finding your people. If there's any midlife friendship difficulties that we miss, like please send me a DM, or if you're watching on YouTube, you can leave a comment. I would love to know kind of what you guys are wondering, because we do have this influx of new listeners and it's really, really fun and it's exciting. I saw on a map, there's a pocket of listeners in the UK. There's a pocket of listeners in Australia. I know, it's really
That's
cool.
So crazy.
I know, it's like, I don't even know anybody in the UK. So
that.
any of you wonderful listeners from not the United States, I'm just delighted to have you. So yeah, leave a comment. Tell me where you're listening from. Send a DM. Oh, would love if you guys could rate and review this show on Apple Podcasts, because apparently Apple Podcasts, somebody who knows things about podcasts told me, like, if you have fewer than, 25 reviews and ratings, Apple doesn't really see your podcast as legit. So please, if you could take like 30 seconds to do that, it would be wonderful. I would appreciate it. Have you left one?
Yeah, in the future I have.
Oh my gosh.
By the time this airs, I will have rated and reviewed. I didn't want to be, you know how like you don't want the first review to be from your mom.
I think my first 2 reviews are like mom and dad, I swear.
Right, like we love you, mom and dad, but it's like I want some variety in there before I throw mine in.
Okay, whatever reasons you must have, like it's time.
I'll do it today.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming on for the 4th time, not the last time, and for talking more about friendships and how sometimes it's hard and you go through crappy things, and sometimes they're just like, sometimes it's a bumpy road, but
we're all on it.
Thanks for coming on. We'll see you later. Okay, bye.
Bye.